Thanks for joining us, and please welcome back to our show Dr. Kathy Gruver, who is a health and wellness advisor. She joins us this morning to talk about mindfulness during the summer. Good morning, Dr. Gruver. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, I've enjoyed so much just speaking to you off camera this morning. We're talking about summer, children, and mindfulness. So can you explain to us what mindfulness means?
Absolutely. Mindfulness in its very simplest is just being in the present moment. Because if you look at stress, stress is not here and now. Stress is behind us from things we're dwelling on and in front of us of things we're worrying about. So anything we can do to stay in the present moment. And the last time I was here, I taught you guys the mini meditation.
Yes.
The inhale, I am. Exhale at peace. Mindfulness takes that a bit further, and it's doing an activity with focus and curiosity, using all of your senses without judgment.
Well, without judgment, that's probably the tricky part. Okay, let me ask you, what's an example for, say, you and a teenager to do? Because obviously I'm going to have a teenager here this summer, and so just something that can keep him focused and centered, especially if he gets frustrated. He's doing online summer school. Yeah. So what kind of tips?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing is, again, it's that staying in the present moment. And you know, so often, and especially as adults, we're doing so many different things. We're driving to work and we suddenly get to the office and we go, I don't remember driving here. You know, we're completely mindless about what we're doing. So pick one activity a day and do it mindfully. Whether it's mindfully brushing your teeth, we have to do that every day, mindfully doing the dishes, mindfully petting the cat, spending time with your kid. So if you're going to do the dishes mindfully, rather than just talking and thinking and just kind of mindlessly doing them, focus on how the water feels on your hands. How does the smell of that soap smell? And inevitably, you know, one little bubble floats out of the sink.
Right.
Pops with a little spray of water. Getting all of your senses into that brings you into the present moment. And if you find your mind wandering, just bring it back without judgment. Acknowledge that you were thinking and say, okay, I'm going back to my task. It's beautiful. And you can do that with kids. You can have a mindful meal where maybe just the first 5 minutes of dinner, you're eating in silence, you're smelling your food, you're actually tasting your food, because how often do we just, it's fuel, we shove it in and don't even really think about it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Bringing those 5 senses in and being aware of what you're actually doing brings mindfulness in. It allows us to stay in the present moment. It allows us to up our cognitive function. Our memory is better. So for a teenager who's got to do summer school or tests, taking a moment, so like if you're taking the test and you're starting to get stressed about it, you don't know the answer, just take a moment, put your hands on the desk, just be calm, breathe a little bit, get back to that present moment, and then go back to your task. It gives us that time to respond rather than react. And
so
it's
interesting.
That knee-jerk reaction that gets us in trouble when we're driving in with our spouse and with our kids and with our coworkers. We want to be mindful.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I want to ask you about your book, because it's obviously won some awards. What is the one thing in this book that people come back and say, oh my gosh, this made such a big difference?
Yeah, it's really the mini meditation, the inhale, I am, exhale at peace. And there's about 60 techniques in there, because if that doesn't work for you, something else does. You know, we all learn things differently. So somebody else might want to do the dishes mindfully, someone else might want to eat mindfully or pet the cat mindfully. So it's really about customizing and
finding what works for you.
That's what natural health's all about.
And you know, it's so interesting that you say that, to think about what you're doing, because I notice if I just turn off the radio in my car, then I sit there and think, and I don't get as tired driving to work for some reason. I'm a little more bored talking to myself, but you know, that's something else that you have to. Okay, so tell us where your books are available.
Sure, absolutely. A Journey of Healing and Conquer Your Stress are available on my site, which is thealternativemedicinecabinet.com. They're at Chaucer's bookstore here in Santa Barbara, and they're also on Amazon, of course.
Everyone knows where Amazon is. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
I feel more peaceful just having you here.
Good, I'm so glad.